Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Trouble, and today we're going to be continuing a series that I dropped off a while ago, and that's the Berserk manga arc review, and we're going to be finishing up the Golden Age arc. So just a little recap. Last time we left off, it was the departure, and after Guts left, and the Band of the Hawk was ambushed by the Midland Kingdom, and Griffith was captured and tortured. So that's where we left off last time, and this is where we're gonna pick up. So, um, let's just dive on in. Okay, so we pick up a year afterwards, and we pick up with Guts. We see Guts taking part in a tournament. Guts eventually win the tournament, and the host of the tournament tells Guts that this is a gathering for a raid to attack the Band of the Hawk. This comes as a surprise to Guts, and Guts decides to go along. Guts goes along, and he and the Band of the Hawk eventually defeat the raid, and that starts to get filled in on what's been going on for the past year and a half after he left. Yeah, and the Band of the Hawk fills him in, and Casca eventually takes him away to have a little talk. And the talk is more of a fight, and the two of them fight, they make up, and they confess their feelings to each other, and they have sex. They have sex, and it's one of ask any Berserk fan, it's one of the best two of the best chapters in Berserk. So yeah. So the two make up, and then the entirety of the Band of the Hawk decides that they were making a plan to rescue Griffith from the Midland Kingdom. Everybody readies up, and they go to the site, and they have a guide, and the guide is none other than Princess Charlotte. Princess Charlotte guides them into the dungeon where they find Griffith's body, and they immediately realize Griffith is in a horrible state of being. But they found out, and the guards come to the dungeon, and they kill their way out of there. And they did get surrounded, but the King of Midland tells them not to do anything because Princess Charlotte was there, and he wants to, he's kind of obsessed with his daughter, to say the least. So yeah, but he instead sends a group of assassins after them. The assassin eventually catches up to the gang in the tunnels, and after a brief fight, the gang kills some of them and escapes. Um, they actually go back to the king. They go back to the king, but because Charlotte was injured during the fight, the king kills the remaining of the assassin. Yeah, so the gang escapes, and they start to make way for the next kingdom over, where they think they'll be safe. But the king of Midland is not done yet, and he sends the Black Hounds of Hell after them, led by a complete madman or a psychopath, if you want a psycho, known as Wild. Um, Wild begins his pursuit of them, and he eventually does catch up with them. And after a pretty amazing fight with him and Guts, this is oh yeah, holy shit, this is Guts' first ever fight with an apostle. He doesn't quite manage to kill him, but I mean, he was basically on the verge of death. Yeah, but Guts managed to wound Wild pretty badly, and he was dying. And Wild makes a last-ditch attempt to sacrifice Griffith, um, but before he can, Zod shows up and finishes him off. A pretty fucking brutal way too. He almost rips him in half. Yeah. So after that, they start to rest and recuperate from their fight with Wild, which was a pretty bad fight for them. And as they're resting and recuperating, they start to talk. Guts and Casca starts to talk. Casca tells Guts that he has to leave if he ever wants to be Griffith's equal. He needs to leave. And the Band of the Hawk finds out the absolute horrible state that Griffith's in, and all of them lose hope, and they all start to, basically ask Guts to lead them. Griffith, Griffith doesn't like this. Griffith kind of starts overhearing all these conversations that everyone was having, and it sends him into a spiral of depression, and he takes a cart and a horse and he tries to run away. The band of the Hawk chases him, chases after him, but as he's running away, the cart hits a rock and he gets thrown into a lake. That's where he finds his Behelit, hit the Crimson Behelit, right? Because he lost it a couple years ago. Not a year ago when he got captured. And that's when he finds it. And this kicks off the eclipse because this is Griffith at his lowest point, and it kicks off the eclipse. The God Hand, the God Hand that we saw back in the Black Swordsman arc gets summoned, and this is actually, if you read Berserk, this is where we're catching up, the blanks being filled in from the Black Swordsman arc. Um, so yeah, the God Hand gets summoned, and after, remember, Griffith isn't in his right mental state at this point, and with the manipulation of the God Hand, and the God Hand manipulates him, basically pushes him, is telling him you got to chase your dream and all that, and pushes him over the edge. And Griffith decides to sacrifice the band of the Hawk, or betray. It's betray all of his comrades for his dream, and he eventually is reborn into the fifth and final God Hand known as Femto. And this is pretty dark because the first thing he did as he's reborn as Femto, is he rapes Casca in front of Guts, for no other reason than just a power trip. And it's a pretty brutal scene. Guts loses an arm, he loses an eye. All the members of the Band of the Hawks are dying. All the members of the Band of the Hawks are dying. Crocus, he went out. He went out. Judah, fuck Judah, man. Shit. And Judah confesses his feelings to Casca as he's dying, and all the apostles are gathered there, and they're just it's like they say it's a grand feast. They're all just feasting, and but Guts and Casca gets lucky, and that's when the Skull Knight shows up, and the Skull Knight rescues both Guts and Casca, taking them to Gado's blacksmith factory. So, a factory, a medieval kingdom. What do you mean factory? To Gado's forge, the blacksmith forge, and he keeps Kafka into a nearby cave that was built by the fairy race a long time ago, and um, yeah, and that's the end of the eclipse. That's the end. This is the end of the Golden Age arc. Uh, I have nothing to say that hasn't already been said about this arc. I mean, basically everyone that has ever watched it, ever seen it, everybody knows that it's one of the darkest moments in anime. It's one of the greatest betrayals in anime. Really gut wrenching stuff. Um, yeah, that's Berserk, the Golden Age. That's the entirety of it. Yeah, I started doing it when I first started doing YouTube. So yeah, there's a lot of parts of this. This is the final part. So yeah, hopefully next time we go into the uh, shit, I don't remember what that arc is called. I think, fuck, I don't remember the name of the arc. The one with Rosine and the Fairy Kingdom. Yeah, the arc with Rosine, yeah, that really, really fucking dark arc, where Guts is at his darkest. Yeah, so that's um, that's the Black Swordsman arc from Berserk. That's a Golden Age arc from Berserk. This is the final part. Thank you guys for watching. Comment down below. Let me know what you think, or if you've read it. Tell me how, when you were first reading it and seeing all these characters that you eventually grew to love and know, just all dying. Tell me what you thought about Judah and the betrayal of Griffith and all of that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.